Hello, hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to yet another video. My name is Nicole, and I like to come on here once a week to share any messages of guidance for those of you who are going through the journey of awakening on the path of spirituality, or just wanting to get higher guidance as to what is really happening in the world right now. And there is a lot. So, as I like to come on here once a week and share these messages, it's, really just I like to use the cards as an anchor to help me organize my thoughts and to just channel whatever messages are going to be able to provide insight into what you are experiencing, help just giving you some advice, giving you some new information that will help you to perhaps look at things from a somewhat different perspective, and just share messages of hope and lightness and whatever else these messages bring. So if you do resonate with this content, I would love for you to share it with those who you feel will resonate with it also. Like the video also if you are feeling good about this content. So let us see the first card that we have today. So having pulled from the Angels of Abundance cards, the first card that came out is do the work. It's not enough to dream or pray. You've also got to take the positive action steps that you are being divinely guided to take. Consistently working on your practices will make them flourish like a lush flower garden. So yes, I think by now many of you on here have probably heard of the concept of manifestation. And, I've certainly done a lot with manifestation and have actually even been able to manifest some incredible things in my own life. But one of the things, and this is again, I have a big bone to pick with the New Age movement, because the New Age movement gives you a lot of truth, but it also gives you a lot of half truths. So there is a lot of information that is missing, which is why people then become confused or end up coming, up against some certain obstacles, so to speak. And so, right now the New Age movement has been saying for years, focus on positive thinking, and if you just keep sitting thinking about what it is that you want to manifest, you will be able to manifest it. But this simply isn't true, because as I've said in many of my previous videos, there seems to be a big disconnect between the physical and the spiritual. And most people fail to understand that these two work together, because what dominates this physical reality is the spiritual. And what is really the spiritual? The spiritual is connected to our soul. And the soul is what animates us. It's what animates our body and gives us life. So unfortunately, most people today identify with their body, but your body is not you. There is something animating your body. Your body is just the physical vessel that allows your soul to come here to this physical reality and experience what it is like in this physical world. And so if we want to attract something to us, we have to work with our mental state of being, we have to work with our emotional state of being, our spiritual state of being, but also our physical state of being, because we as human beings are made up of all of those different parts. So when we are trying to manifest something into our life, and most of us are here when we want to be over here. And it's not that we're not taking the steps to get over here, but somehow from setting the intention where we are here of getting over here, a lot of the time we come up against various roadblocks, we come up against difficulties, or we maybe lose our will to keep going, we lose our commitment, we lose our motivation. And it's not for lack of trying, it's that there is something deeper within us that is not quite allowing us to get to where it is that we want to go. And this is where we have to look at our physical, our mental, our emotional, and even our spiritual. Because if we are not aware of ourselves on each of those levels, then there is a part of us that we are totally omitting. So when it comes to manifestation, and right now we are in the midst of the energies that we are experiencing in the world today, as much as when we tune into what is happening in the world around us, it looks like there is a lot of chaos taking place. And there is a lot of chaos. But at the same time, the reason why there is so much chaos is because for the first time ever, humanity, at least the majority of humanity, are not all buying into the same narrative. A lot of us are starting to question things. A lot of us are starting to look more deeply at to what is being presented to us at face value. And so that is also causing chaos, because prior to, I think we can say 2020, most people were kind of following the same trajectory, the same narrative. But ever since that, everything that took place back then, a lot of us have been waking up and realizing that perhaps there's a lot more going on than we've actually wanted to accept. And so if we are wanting to get, and so again, yes, these energies that are present at this time, they're actually really supporting us in manifesting great things. The energies are really supporting us, because as I've said in many of my previous videos, what is happening right now is that Earth, as well as all of us who live here on Earth, are going through a level of evolution. And so evolution is not always comfortable. Just think about when we're children and when we're growing and how we have growing pains, because evolution isn't always seamless and comfortable. Sometimes it can be painful. And so these are the growing pains that we are going through as the collective, as we start moving towards the next phase of human evolution. But so if we are not taking the physical actions towards aligning to what it is that we wish to experience, whatever it is that we wish to manifest, then we're never really going to get there, because we continue to give our energy to the wrong things. So think about it for a moment. What is it, especially that, we're still at the beginning of the year, and though technically the new year only starts in April, on the 1st of April, because we are then fully in Aries season, and this is when the astrological new year starts, then this is, you still have the time to start thinking about what it is that you want to start taking action on once we get into Aries season. So really start thinking clearly. We set intentions in at the beginning of January, but the energies are not supporting us in actually aligning with what it is that we want to desire, that it is that we want to experience. And so really this reading is helping you to understand that the best time to manifest, the best time to start taking step towards your intentions, is when we get into Aries season, which really actually starts on the 21st of March. So this is a really good time. Use February and the beginning of March to start being more intentional about what it is that you want to experience for the year, and start taking all the steps you need in order to get closer to that thing. Because if you're faffing about and spending time on things that are not that important, then of course you're not really going to get there. If you're spending all your time worrying about all the things that you don't want to experience, then of course that is going to align you more so with what you don't want to experience, as opposed to what you do want to experience. So the next card we have here is attracting, not chasing. Anything or anyone you chase after will run the other way, because of the fears underlying chasing energy. Instead, attract what you need by sending out love, gratitude, and welcoming energy. Yes, this is again something that most people misunderstand, because when we, as I talked about the human being made up of a mental body, emotional, spiritual, and physical, we are also made up of both masculine and feminine energy. This is why within the body we are divided into the left side of the body, the right side of the body, the right brain and the left brain. And these are because we are made up of both masculine and feminine energy. And again, not to confuse this with gender, but creative, for example, the physical qualities that we hold are things like intuition and dreaming and creativity and love and nurturing and beauty and justice and harmony. All of those aspects connect to the feminine energies that we hold. On the masculine side, we are connected to logic and structure and oh gosh, it's blanking me at the moment, but basically we have been living in a world where we have been focusing more so on masculine traits as opposed to feminine traits, which is why things like emotions and, beauty and harmony are kind of looked down upon as being less important than logic and structure and mathematics and, all of that kind of, I call boring stuff, but it's also very, very necessary, because if there is no structure in our creativity, then we kind of, start coloring outside the boxes. And then, well, that's not as beautiful as when we have a defined piece of artwork. And so part of being in our feminine energies is also about understanding that we attract, because feminine energy receives, masculine energy gives. And so if we are constantly giving, then we are more so in our masculine energies, kind of omitting the feminine qualities. And it is again about finding balance. It is about, back in the day, most people were ambidextrous, because what they don't understand is that the more we use our left hand, the more we're activating our right feminine brain, whereas the more we use our the left hand connected to the right brain, right hand connected to the left brain, which is the masculine properties. And so it's about understanding that, so the masculines are the ones who chase, but this is why we even see in relationships women kind of wait for the men to come to them, because that is how it is supposed to be energetically. This is why generally in olden times, I know things are changing, men would always be the one to ask women in marriage. It wasn't the other way around. And so part of this thing, yes, the previous card says, you need to take action. But the thing is, it's also trusting a big part. And this is where most people kind of fall off and aren't able to manifest what it is that they truly desire, is because they often chase what it is that they desire out of fear that that thing is never going to come to them. So this sounds a little bit paradoxical, and it's about finding that balance of how much action do you take, and it's about the intention behind the action that you take. So for example, if I know that part of my business is I need to gain more sales, I'm not going to sit around and wait for everything to just come to me. Of course, in some cases I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call people and be like, hey, are you interested in these services? But I'm not going to call them out of fear, because I think that, or I believe that, no one is ever going to buy what it is that I am selling. So it's also very much so about the intention that we hold whilst we are doing these actions. So as we are manifesting, one of the main reasons why most people are not able to manifest the things that they wish to experience is because deep down they don't believe that they are worthy of receiving that thing. And this is why that previous card says do the work. It's also do the work on shifting your limiting beliefs. What beliefs are you holding that are consistently telling you that you don't have what it takes, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, whatever it may be, to align you with whatever it is that you wish to experience. So if, for example, you want to get really, really healthy, but something inside of you is telling you you're never going to get healthy, even if you are doing whatever it needs, taking those steps towards getting healthier. If your mind is constantly repeating, you're never going to achieve this, well, obviously that continuous wording is going to start psyching you out, that eventually you're no longer going to have the motivation to take the action on what it is that you need to do. And so it's really finding that balance between really working on your emotions, working on your belief systems, and especially the belief system. And this is something that so few people talk about when they talk about these concepts of manifestation. You have to believe that you are worthy. And if you don't believe, then you have to do the work towards changing those beliefs. Because the beauty about beliefs is that, well, there are those beliefs that we hold that we know about, and then there are those beliefs that lie within our unconscious that we don't necessarily know are there until something happens to remind us that those beliefs are there. But we can always be changing our beliefs because of something called neuroplasticity. It basically shows that we can develop new skills and beliefs regardless of our age. And so, yes, when we're younger, it's easier to develop new beliefs because those neural pathways in our brain haven't been so deeply etched. But there is always the ability to change what we believe. So whatever it is that you are trying to align yourself to, if you are living, if you want to experience better relationships, if you want to experience more abundance, if you want to experience more freedom, if you want to experience better health, whatever it is that you want to experience, first start questioning, what are your beliefs around these things? Because if also you have the belief that, oh, it's so hard to make money, well, that's just not true. There are people who are making money just by doing what they love on a daily basis. So it's about starting to question, what are the beliefs you hold, and how are these beliefs that you are holding perhaps pushing away that thing that you want to experience as opposed to attracting it towards you. So the next card we have here, sever vows of poverty. Dear one, there is no need to suffer or sacrifice. Hold the intention of undoing any vows of poverty or self-denial that you have made consciously or unconsciously in any lifetime. As you do so, all effects of all effects of these vows will be undone for everyone involved in all directions of time. So absolutely, here's the beautiful imagery here. And so, it's interesting because, again, if we want to engage in this kind of work, it's important that we understand that there are so many layers that are playing on top of each other all the time. And because we are soul beings having a physical human experience, we often forget that we have lived past lives. The majority of us on this planet have, well, actually, that's not true. Not the majority of us. A few of us on this planet have experienced past lives, many past lives, some not so many in comparison to others. But what happens is, because our soul is what is animating our physical body, we often forget that, remember, our soul is energetic. It's not something tangible. It's not something that we can touch, but it exists. Just like my breath is non-tangible, but it certainly exists, and it is what is giving me life. And so we don't realize that sometimes the things that we say in passing, in past lives or even in these present lives, so maybe when you were a child, your parents were always saying, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work really hard to make money. Of course, as a result of continuously repeating that over and over again, what happens is we start to believe those things. But those things, again, aren't true. These are beliefs that certain people hold, and our beliefs are what create the reality that we hold, because all the actions that we take serve to actually reinforce the beliefs that we have. And so, so many people, these vows of poverty, perhaps in a past life you were a nun or a monk, or you were, you had to vow to discard all your belongings and be completely connected to the church. And it's funny because sometimes we don't remember these things, but just doing these things and trying them out, even if you don't believe in them so much, at least you can see what this does to you. But simply sitting there and stating, I relinquish any vows of poverty that I made in this life or any of my past lives. I relinquish any vows that I made that would keep me in poverty. I relinquish any vows that served to keep me poor, that made it difficult for me to build my abundance. Simply stating those things, or even writing those things out and then burning them, is what you're doing there. Is now you're starting to play with the energetics of things. You're shifting the energies of things, because simply your intention is the most powerful thing that you hold. And again, people would want to believe that other things are more powerful, but remember, your intention is what drives everything that you do. So by simply stating with your intention that you are no longer going to be tied to any vows that you or members of your family made in this life or past lives, because maybe you had a past, you had a family member who was connected to the church or connected to whatever that required them to have, to state these vows of poverty. Well, perhaps that has also trickled down and started to influence you and your family. So simply just taking the time to, identify any vows of poverty that you may have made will actually start to help you bring in, or you can even simply say, universe, I ask that you please bring to me any information that will help me build my abundance, and then stay open. And this is the beauty of AI and the algorithms, is I've noticed that the more I talk to the algorithms, the more the algorithm actually brings me information that is helping me to align to what it is that I truly desire. So these are some fun games that we can play around with. And the thing is, because we have lost that sense of play that we had when we were children, when we were inventive and creative, and we didn't take life too seriously. And the thing is, that inner child still exists within each and every one of us. It isn't just because we get older and we become adults that we should stop playing and having fun and being creative and being imaginative, because this is also part of adult human existence. When you think about all those people out there who've been extremely successful, it's because they had creative ideas and they went ahead and did whatever they needed to do. And not to say that they didn't have doubt in that process, but they didn't psych themselves out. They found ways to continue building themselves up so that they could continue taking the steps that they needed to keep moving forward to align them with whatever it is that they wanted to experience. Oh gosh, that was a bit of a mouthful, but let me know in the comments down below if this is resonating with you. What is it that you have been trying to manifest, and what is it that you are having difficulty kind of continuing on that path? So the next card we have here is higher power with the number 4. So in numerology, the number 4 relates to our foundation. So, look at the beautiful imagery here on this card. And really, with that message, higher power is the universe, the most high, source, God, whatever it is that you want to call it, is essentially telling you here that allow your foundation to be built on a higher power. Because not that I'm religious here, but I've always really resonated with the story of Jesus Christ and the teachings of Jesus Christ, because really he performed many miracles, and what he said was, the things that I do, you will do even more. And really the teachings of Jesus Christ are really teaching us about Christ consciousness. And Christ consciousness is a very high level of consciousness where we begin to understand that we have the ability to do amazing things. And this is what Jesus Christ would always say. But the thing is, he was saying, it is not me who is doing these things. It is because I am connected to God. I am connected to this higher power. I am connected to source energy, the energy where everything that exists within the universe comes from. And through me, this energy flows through me so that I can do these miracles. So if you have difficulty believing in yourself, in your abilities, in your power, and the incredible things that you are capable of accomplishing, remember that the foundation of your life is built on this higher power. And that if you have difficulty, tapping into those miraculous abilities that you have, then know that there is a higher power that is your foundation, because we all come from the same source energy. We all come from the same place. We are all part of the divine. We are all part of God. We are all part of the source experiencing itself in all the different forms, because all the different human beings and all the different plants, animals, everything that was created was essentially God, the universe, source's way of experiencing itself in all its different forms. Because as much as we are 8 billion people on this planet, we don't all think the same. We don't all look at the world the same. We don't all, exist in the same way. We don't live our lives in the same way. Everyone is uniquely different. And that is what it is. The purpose of us being incarnated here on this planet is so that we can allow God, Source, the Most High, to experience itself through us and through all the incredible, unique things that we want to experience and share with the world. And so there is a higher power that you can call upon, and the higher power is also your soul, because your soul is a part of God. Your soul is a part of consciousness, of source, of the universe, and it is there to help you. And there are so many different, everyone works in different ways. Like since I was a child, I experienced a lot of very difficult trauma, a lot of neglect, a lot of abuse throughout my life. And the only way that I was able to make it through it, because I had suicidal thoughts for most of my life, and the only way that I am standing here today is because I communed with these higher powers. And these higher powers came to me in the forms of angels and fairies and ancestral spirits. And this might seem hard for some of you out there to believe, but there is always something out there helping us. But do we have the ability to hear? Do we have the ability to believe that there is something out there to help? And this is why people pray, because we need to turn to something higher than ourselves in those darker moments, because that is kind of what holds our hands and becomes our cheerleader, telling us, you got this, you can do whatever it is that you need. But sometimes we need something to cheer us on and remind us that we are way more incredible than we can probably imagine. So the next card we have here is To Be Fair, and the numerology is 11. Interesting, because 11 in tarot is connected to the High Priestess, but 1111, which maybe some of you on this video here have a tendency of seeing, is the they call it the angel number, essentially, of spiritual awakening. So when we look at the card here, this really makes me think about Libra in astrology, and how Libra is all about the scales of balance, as you can see here. And so, with this message, to be fair, and it's also interesting because she has on here, she has a a fortune cookie, and on the other side it looks like, I don't know whether it's an egg or a pearl, and on her head is an owl, and the owl is all about wisdom. And so, really what the card is, the message that's coming to me here is, allow your wisdom from your higher self, because look at how, the owl is sitting on her head. So it's like the messages from your higher self come in through your crown, giving you wisdom, but helping you to keep balance. So not going too far in one direction, not going too far in the other direction, but also about being balanced between your masculine and feminine energies, because these are qualities that you are interchangeably using all the time. Moving through logic and creativity isn't moving between masculine and feminine energies, for example. So the next card we have here is Waymaker, Miracle Worker, Promise Keeper, Light in the Darkness. So yes, the people who really connect with this channel here are people who are in a similar energy and frequency to myself. And so you might consider yourself a light worker, you might consider yourself a starseed, or you might just consider yourself someone who is on the spiritual path of enlightenment and awakening. And so if you are, obviously if you're here watching this video, it means that you are somewhat more advanced than some of the other people out there. And whoever is more advanced on this journey, will you serve to be a way maker, to be a light in the darkness for other people who are on this journey and who may not have as much information or experience as you on this journey. And the thing is, remember that the awakening spiritual journey is, there are no set rules. We have to remember that spirituality and religion are totally, totally different. And there are no rules, and there is no dogma, and there is no one way that fits all. Everyone has to figure this out for themselves. And this is why it doesn't matter if you believe in God or Allah or the Buddha, or if you want to believe and worship nature. Whatever it is that you need to do that works for you, that helps you get into a state of mind that allows you to keep moving forward and allows you to keep aligning with whatever it is that you truly desire and wish to experience, that is all that matters. So this is why it's beautiful to be able to exchange and share messages and experiences and things that worked for us, but it doesn't mean that this is the way that everyone has to do it. So it's simply about an exchange of information and knowledge and beliefs and experiences or things that we tried that worked out. Because remember, we all function differently. The way our minds work, the way our emotions work, what triggers us, what makes us happy, what brings us joy, we're all different. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because part of the experience of human existence is learning to appreciate the unique difference that every individual human being has, because we can all learn from one another. And especially that we are now in the age of Aquarius, which is all about using our unique abilities to improve the collective experience. Apologies for the noise, there's a plane flying past. But it's really about starting to use our own unique abilities to improve the experience of the collective at large. And this is also why we're experiencing a lot of chaos in the world today. It is because many people are wanting to have a better human experience, have a better human existence, and we are all fighting towards that thing. But we have to remember that every human being essentially is wanting to experience joy and unity and love and freedom and liberty and all of these things that we have not been experiencing for a long time. So it is about continuing to be the light in the darkness, continuing to keep moving forward even when it does get really dark around us. Remember that your higher power, is also there to help be your light as you move through the darkness, so that you can be a light in the darkness for other people. So the next card we have here is Wall, No Way Through, Sudden Stop, Reconsider Your Options, Rise to a Higher Level. Absolutely. How many of us have been feeling stuck or stagnant or frustrated, or like things are not moving? And this seems to be a common theme for a lot of people, including myself, that there have been a lot of things that are maybe not working the way that we want them to, and it's because we are trying to use the same tactics and techniques that we were using previously. But the world has changed, my beautiful people. The energies of the world have changed, and because we are going through this stage of evolution in so many different ways, we can't use the same methods that we were using before, because the energies are changing, and now we are supporting the reconnection of all human beings, as opposed to the continuation of these divide and conquer tactics that have been used for thousands and thousands of years. And so really here it says, reconsider your options, rise to a higher level. And Einstein said, one cannot find the solution at the problem if we are looking at it. One cannot find a solution to a problem if we're looking at it from the same level. We have to rise above so that we can look at our problem differently, and we can start to see new solutions coming in. So whatever it is that you are finding yourself blocked with, whatever you find is not working the way that you would wish it to, then start questioning, what am I not seeing? How can I move differently? What is it that I need to see in order to counteract this problem? And just sometimes we need to ask the questions and wait for the responses to come. So for example, people who pray or who meditate or who commune with the angels, or whatever it is that you commune with, or whatever process it is that you use to help you get through these difficult moments, a lot of the time we want those responses to come to us right now because of instant gratification. We're so used to everything happening right now. But sometimes we just need to wait. And this is the thing of always being go, 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 is sometimes we miss the information, because sometimes the information comes to us so subtly. It could be in something that some random passerby says, and it's like, oh my gosh, why had I never thought about that? It could be the lyrics in a song. It could be something that is said in a movie. It could be something that we read in a book. It could be a news article that pops up on the internet for us. So just stay open. And again, it's about those beliefs. Trust that information that you need is coming to you, because the more we trust, the more we allow these things to come to us, the more we don't need to chase, the more we attract, as that card said earlier. So the next card we have is Flea Circus. Take a close look. Many, many details. Yes, as this previous card says, rise to a higher level. Ask the questions and wait. But sometimes we have to look more closely. We have to pay more attention. We have to look at the finer details, because most of us, because we're always on the rush, always moving so quickly, is we tend to sometimes omit certain details. We miss things because we're trying to go too fast. And this is, again, a masculine trait. Masculine energy moves fast. Feminine energy moves slow and gently. And so perhaps now is also a time to slow down and pay attention to some of the things that you might have missed. So if you have been on this journey of trying to get somewhere and you're not quite there yet, then question, what have I been missing? What do I need to see in order to align myself with where it is that I wish to go? So again, many details are all around us, but a lot of the time we miss them because we're trying to go too fast. The next card we have is to cast pearls before swine. Wasted efforts. Re-examine your reasons. I find this to be such a wonderful card, because especially for those of you who are empaths or who are givers, a lot of the time we always want to focus so much on other people's experiences, sometimes forgetting about our own experience. And so really here it says wasted efforts, re-examine your reasons. And it makes me think about this card here of the wall. It's like perhaps you have been exerting efforts. Again, it's this thing of attracting, not chasing. Perhaps because out of fear, because you don't believe that you are worthy, or you do not trust that those things are destined for you, or you can essentially reach whatever it is that you want to reach, then perhaps you're putting in so much effort and you're doing things that don't really need to be done. So it's like, use the 80-20 rule, is like work 20% of your time to make 80% of your income. So what is it that you need to do to get that majority of your income? Because a lot of the time people waste their energies doing things that's only going to help them get 20% of their income. So for example, let's say you're marketing for a new product. Rather than marketing to the whole world, then try and be very much more niche in what you are marketing, to make sure that you are at least speaking to the right people, as opposed to trying to speak to everybody, which of course those are not going to convert into sales, because not everybody is interested in what it is that you have to sell. So start paying attention to where perhaps you are using energy for things that are not actually going to help you align to what it is that you want to desire. So for example, if you want to lose weight and you're spending all your time running around, I can't really think of an example here, but if you spend more time worrying about losing weight than actually just doing it, then you're obviously not going to get there. So don't spend your energy, because also worrying about things is us dispensing energy. So don't worry about things that have not yet happened, because that is also you attracting things that you don't want to you unconsciously. And this is why so many people say, I don't understand why things never go my way. Well, because if you're constantly saying things are never going my way, then you're actually manifesting and attracting more of things not going your way than things actually going your way. I know this is a lot of information, but if you're still with me, type in the comment manifestation, just so that I can know where you're at and whether these tools are going to be helpful to help you align to what it is that you really want to experience. So the next, oh yes, here, sorry, I'm being pulled here to re-examine your reason. So again, it's really paying attention to the intention or why you are doing what you're doing. So if you are busy marketing to the whole world, ask, are you marketing to the whole world because you're fearful that you will never make any sales? Well, we always have to examine the energy behind what it is that we are doing, the intention. And a lot of the time we do these things unconsciously. So start paying attention. Are you doing things out of fear, or are you doing things out of the belief that these things are genuinely possible in your life? So the next card we have is Catcher, up to the challenge, perfect timing, spirit of time. Yes, be open to catch whatever is coming to you. So again, this is that thing of, if you are moving too fast, then you will not be able to catch the information. You won't be able, and a lot of the time is when we are working with these spiritual energies, with spirit, the Most High, the universe, whatever you want to call it, then a lot of these things happen on a very subtle basis. If you are moving too fast, you're never going to pick up on this information. So what is it that you can start doing to already slow things down a little bit for yourself, so that you can actually catch that perfect timing to get the information that you need to move forward, or to do whatever it is that you need to do in order to keep moving forward? So the next card we have here is Castle in the Sky, visionary, higher perspective, effortlessness. Oh, I love this message here. And this really goes hand in hand with this attracting, not chasing card that we have. Because when you believe that what it is that you desire, that you are worthy of those things, then you can just sit back and work effortlessly, because now you are working with your higher power. And again, this is not to say that you're going to sit around on your ass and do absolutely nothing, but again, it's that 80-20, do 20% of the work to get 80% of the revenue. So it's like, it's about working smarter, not harder. So again, it's about letting go of those beliefs of, oh, I have to work really hard to make money, because again, that's not true. That is just a belief that you hold. There are so many people out there in the world who are making money super easily, or who are dealing with whatever issues that they are dealing with, for people who may be on the healing journey. You don't have to believe that it's going to take forever, because again, that is not true. I went from being extremely depressed, extremely lost, suicidal, unhealthy, unhappy, to essentially manifesting, being able to go into business for myself, being able to buy a house, being able to get super healthy, and being able to really do the job that I absolutely love, which is helping people to improve their own lives. So it really is possible. And I did this just in a matter of years, and I didn't need to spend a shitload of money, and I didn't need to go and see all kinds of therapists. I was actually able to do a lot of this work on my own. And so it's about what you believe. If you believe in yourself, then the things that you desire will come to you more easily. But again, it's about being that visionary, having that higher perspective, and doing whatever you need to do to stay aligned with that thing. So the next card we have is Anna, grandmother of Jesus. Interesting, we spoke about Jesus earlier in Christ consciousness. It says here, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. Oh, I absolutely love this card and this message. It's very, very powerful here. And again, for those of you who don't believe in Jesus Christ, that's absolutely fine, because really what I'm talking about here more so is Christ consciousness, which is what the teachings of Jesus Christ were about, was that once you get to a certain level of consciousness, then you really are able to do incredible things. You are able to really, as this card here said, miracle worker. And that is what Jesus Christ said, that all the miracles that he was performing, we would also be able to perform as well, because we were all children of God. We were all children of the Most High. We all come from the same place. And the Most High wants nothing more than for us to experience our divinity when we are here in human form, because that is what we are. We are a part of the divine manifested in this physical body. And so there is a plan, there is a divine plan, and we are all part of that divine plan, and we all have a different role to play in that divine plan. But really, the divine plan that is here playing out is the freedom of humanity. Because if we look back for hundreds and even thousands of years, we have not really been free. We haven't really been free to express ourselves, to know ourselves, to experience who we really are, because we're only allowed to experience ourselves up to a certain limit. Because, think about it this way: those people who don't fit into society, those people who don't behave the way society wants them to behave, are ostracized. And this is more so, when we go further back in history. And I don't know why I'm being called to the Salem witch trials that happened in, like, I think it was like the 1700s or whatever. And essentially what was happening is these were during colonial times in America, because let's not forget that America too was colonized by the British and the French and even the Dutch way earlier. And so if we look at what colonization is about, it's always been about the removal of indigenous people and the indigenous way of life in order to impose this Catholic religious nonsense, which is really the cause of all the nonsense going on in the world today, because it's been another form of indoctrination. And so these women were essentially put to death because they were medicine workers and they were healers, or, they would not sit down and allow the patriarchy to continue having domination over them. And these were the women who knew how to work with herbs, and they were the healers, and they were the ones who would use alternative ways and were connected to the spirits of nature and all of these different things. And because that did not align with the colonial way of being, well, these people had to be put to death. And so, we are living the divine plan of coming back to a place of individual sovereignty and freedom, so that we have the ability to experience our uniqueness and not have to dim our light in order to fit into the society. And especially I think this message will resonate more so with people who are considered black sheep, because they maybe go against the grain and they don't do things the way everybody else does things, and that doesn't make them wrong. This is how innovation happens. If we look to all the innovators in the past, at one point they were all called crazy because people were like, this is not the way to do things, but their craziness led to development and evolution in the world. And so this is where we are today. We are being given the opportunity to be part of the evolution by experiencing what we wish to experience most deeply within our hearts. So the next card we have here is Leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. Yes, we are being asked to take a leap at this time. We are being asked to go for what it is that we have always wanted to go for. How many people wake up one day in their 40s, 50s, 60s and be like, oh my gosh, where did my life go? And it's because people live their lives for others as opposed to living life for themselves, because we have been taught to look at this as being selfish, but that is not true. If you wake up one day and you wonder where your life has gone, then you have not lived the life that you truly wish to live. And no matter how old you are whilst you're watching this video, you can change your life at any time. Age does not matter. Age is just a number. Age, again, is just a mentality. And I was lucky in some ways, unlucky in others, that my father was quite elderly when I was born, and in his 90s he became a published author. He was like, well, I'm bored and I've got nothing but time on my hands, let me do something new. And so it's never too late to go after your dreams. But again, so take that leap and know that the universe will catch you. It's about believing and trusting in that higher power, in the divine working alongside you, because you are a part of the divine, and the divine wants you to experience yourself in all its beautiful, beautiful glory. So the next card we have here is Summer. bask in joy and light. So yes, natural trajectory here of these cards, when it says if you leap and go first, you will bask in joy and light. You will experience, so many people are unhappy and unfulfilled and not feeling joy because they are not living the life that they truly want to live. They are living their life for other people, and you cannot live your life for other people because it is your life. And you came here to live your life, not everybody else's life. And if people tell you that they're selfish, then those people are simply not for you. And that can be difficult to accept, and it can be difficult to understand that a lot of people will not always have our best intentions at heart. And that is not to say that they are doing this consciously. Sometimes it can happen unconsciously because they are also not where they wish to be. So when people do take steps towards where they wish to be, sometimes there can be a little bit of jealousy because maybe those people don't have what it takes to actually do the same for themselves. And last but not least, we have autumn, release the old and rest. Yes, in order to move into joy, move into light, connect with the life that it is you truly, truly desire to live, then you have to let go of the old version of you. And that is essentially what is happening because, death and rebirth happens so many times throughout the human experience because we are constantly evolving, we are constantly growing. And as we evolve and grow, that means that sometimes old parts of us have to die. Think about maybe something that you used to love doing before that you totally are not interested in now. It's because your tastes have evolved, your interests have evolved, things change, and that's okay. That is the main part of the human experience, is that we are here to grow and change and evolve. And if we are not changing and if we are not growing, then that means that there is something wrong, because we all came here to grow and expand our soul. We all came here to know ourselves more deeply than ever before. We all came here to experience our divinity in human form. So I certainly hope that these messages have been helpful to you, have at least given you some insight, have given you some information that will be helpful as you continue on your journey. Like and share the video, and I'm sending you much, much love, much strength, and much luck on your journey. Bye for now, and I'll see you in next week's video.